Welcome to the deep dive. This is where we take a whole stack of information, sift through it, and pull out the essential knowledge nuggets just for you. Our mission today, basically, to give you a shortcut to getting genuinely well-informed about a specific company, Stylam Industries Limited. We'll look at their recent performance, their strategy, all by unpacking just one set of documents.
Exactly. We're diving into Stylam Industries, an Indian company. They just filed their unaudited financials for the first quarter ending June 30th, 2025. And what's really interesting here is how much you can actually learn from, well, a pretty formal disclosure letter and the investor presentation that came with it.
That's right. Think of it like peeling back the layers. They have this tagline, precision performance possibility. Okay. We want to see what that actually means in terms of their operations and the financial figures. Oh, and just so you know, all the money figures we mentioned today, like 78 or 205, they're in Indian rupees krotas. That's euros, unless we say otherwise, of course. Okay, let's get into it. What stands out? So our journey into Stylam, it starts where a lot of these deep dives do. With the paperwork, we've got this official letter dated August 2nd, 2025 from Stylam Industries Limited.
Yeah, and this letter, it's important to remember, it's more than just a quick update. It's a formal disclosure, legally required. It goes to the BSE Limited and the National Stock Exchange of India in Mumbai. It falls under Regulation 30 of the SEBI listing rules. Basically, it's all about transparency for investors. So the information here is, verified, it's reliable.
And it tells us the basics, too. They're based in Chandigarh, India. Manufacturing plants are in Panchkula, Haryana. And it's signed by Dheeraj Kherwal, their company secretary and compliance officer. Just underlines that this is official stuff we're looking at. Okay, so that sets the scene. With that formal bit out of the way, let's talk about what Stylam actually, makes. The presentation mentions things like synchro laminates and post-forming laminates. What exactly are those, and why do they matter?
Great question. So synchro laminates think texture, realism. They're designed to look and feel almost exactly like natural wood or stone. So quite premium, used for interior surfaces. Post-forming laminates are different. They're made to be bent, shaped around curves, much more design flexibility there for things like countertops, cabinets, that sort of thing.
Right, so different applications, how does that connect to their sales figures?
Well, if we look at Q1 of FY26, their domestic sales totaled 78 crores. A big chunk of that, 49.66 crores, came from HBL sheets. That's high-pressure laminate. The rest, about 28.34 crores, is listed as others sales. So what this tells us is, while they have these interesting specialized products like Synchro, the real workhorse, domestically at least, is still the standard HPL sheet. That's their foundation.
Okay, got it. Structure, core products, dot, check. Now, let's get into the really interesting bit, the hard data. What are the latest financials telling us about how Stylam's been doing recently? Let's start with Q1 FY26.
Okay, so for that first quarter ending June 30th, 2025, Q1 FY26, their export sales figure really jumps out. It hit 105 crores, and that's actually pretty significant. It's their highest quarterly export number in the last 5 quarters. If you compare it to Q1 of the previous year, FY25, it was 169 crores, so that's a really strong jump.
Wow, 169 to 205, that's quite a boost. What about domestically?
Domestically, sales in Q1 FY26 were 78 crores. Pretty consistent, actually. It's just slightly up from 74 crores in Q1 of FY25. So you can see, right, the big story, the big growth driver right now seems to be international expansion.
Definitely looks that way. Okay, so that's the recent quarter. What about the broader view, the trends over the last few years? Does this recent performance fit into a bigger pattern?
Oh, absolutely. If you look at the annual figures they provide, say from FY20 through to SY25, there's a very clear upward trend, a consistent one. Across several key metrics, it paints a picture of, well, pretty strong sustained growth.
Like what, for instance?
Well, take EBITDA. That's earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization. Kind of your core operating profit. That's grown impressively. From 80 crores back in FY20, it reached a high of 185 crores in FY25. That tells you their basic business operations are just generating more and more cash.
And profitability. Margins holding up.
Yeah, the EBITDA margin has stayed quite robust. It peaked at 21% in FY21 and settled at a very healthy 20% in FY25. So that suggests good efficiency, good profitability in their operations, even as they grow. And another one, net worth. That's assets minus liabilities. That's climbed steadily too. From 204 crores in FY20 up to 658 crores in FY25. Shows a real strengthening of their financial base, their balance sheet.
That is a powerful story of financial strengthening. And, I noticed something in the documents about their net debt. How does that fit into this picture? Because that seemed interesting.
Yes, you picked up on a really crucial detail there. Their net debt, It actually dropped to 0 in FY24. Then it increased just slightly to 36 crores in FY25.
0, wow.
Yeah, that specific movement is quite telling, isn't it? Hitting zero net debt suggests they reached a point of very strong cash flow. Maybe they made a strategic decision to pay down debt, really solidify the balance sheet, reduce risk. The slight increase back up to 36 crores in FY25, which is still very low, mind you, that could signal perhaps a renewed focus, maybe investing more in growth initiatives like funding that export surge we saw rather than just pure de-risking.
Right, okay. That makes sense. And it's a perfect transition, actually, because it's clearly not just about the numbers on the page, is it? It's also about how they achieve these results and what their plans are. So beyond the balance sheet, what strategic moves, what initiatives really jump out from this presentation?
Well, what's fascinating is how active they seem to be. Their approach to market presence is quite multifaceted. Domestically, okay, they do things like the India Expo in Bangalore, showcasing products, standard stuff, but their international exhibition strategy looks significant. They're participating in events in really key places: Dubai, Germany, Atlanta in the US, even Bogota in Colombia.
Okay, so a real global footprint they're aiming for.
Exactly. The presentation explicitly says the goal is to establish a robust international presence and seek out new market opportunities.
Mm.
They even mention undertaking specific international trips as part of this outreach. It shows they're not passive.
Yeah.
They're actively chasing that global expansion we saw reflected in the export numbers.
And it seems like they're also investing internally, right? In their workforce, not just marketing the products.
They absolutely are, which is quite forward-thinking. They have this skill development program. They're members of the Furniture and Fitting Skill Council, FFSC. The aim is to bridge skills gaps. They're creating formal training, working with the FFSC to certify their own workforce and also develop new talent. This isn't just internal training, though. They frame it as promoting employment, entrepreneurship, industry growth, a broader commitment to the whole sector they're in.
That's interesting. And I saw mention of dealer certificates. What might that be about?
Yeah, that likely points to a structured program for their sales network, training and certifying their dealers. It makes sense, right? Ensures everyone selling Stylam products has consistent knowledge, understands the applications, provides quality customer interaction, helps build trust, maintain brand standards across the board.
Builds that whole ecosystem. Okay, and finally, what about the digital side? How are they connecting online?
They have a dedicated digital marketing campaign. The goal, as they put it, is to connect, engage, and inspire, especially targeting architects, designers, and direct customers. Seems data-driven too, using insights to deliver personalized content across different platforms. So it's not just generic ads. It sounds more like storytelling, showcasing what you can do with their laminates, visually rich content, case studies, perhaps tapping into design trends. It's about building that deeper relationship with the people who actually specify or choose these materials and projects, a key piece of the puzzle.
Okay, so pulling it all together, what does this all mean for you, our listener? We started with a formal letter, looked at an investor deck, and from that, we've managed to pull out some pretty critical insights into Stylam Industries, their recent finances, their products, and these quite ambitious global and strategic plans.
Exactly. This deep dive really shows how these documents, which can seem a bit dry on the surface, actually paint a pretty vivid picture. You see the company's financial health, sure, but also its strategic direction, its commitment to growth, even to things like skill development. And you can connect the dots, right? That big jump in export sales we saw, that's not just a random number. It's likely the result of that deliberate international exhibition strategy, maybe boosted by the digital marketing, connecting with new global customers. It really shows how these different pieces of information fit together to tell a story about where the company has been, where it is now, and where it seems to be heading, all within the context of the broader economy.
Precisely. So the next time you come across a company's results or an investor update, remember there's often a rich story hiding in there. A story of, well, maybe precision, performance, and possibility waiting to be uncovered. You just need to know where to look and maybe ask the right questions. What other company stories might be out there hidden in plain sight, just waiting for a deep dive?